Let's shake things up with a live mall, shall we? Here we have the West Empire Mall, or as it's called today, simply the Empire Mall. It's a Simon Mall that's doing pretty damn good. Let's get going and have a look at it. Originally known as the Sioux Empire Plaza, the mall would be built over the course of 1974 and 1975, before being officially opened in September 24th of 75. Grand opening ceremonies would feature a ribbon-cutting event with General Growth Properties representatives and developers Matt and Martin Buxbaum, as well as representatives of Herberger's and Younkers. Original anchors would include Younkers and Herberger's, with JCPenney arriving later in 1976. Pair this with stores like GNC, Harold's Camera, Hickory Farms, Caramel Corn, The Westerner, and Kinney Shoes, just to name a few. The Sioux Empire Plaza had quite the strong start going for it, even featuring a twin-screen movie theater. West Empire Mall would find itself facing quite a bit of competition in the form of the Western Mall, the Empire East, and even a pedestrian mall in downtown Sioux Falls. The pedestrian walk has changed completely as of today, becoming more a street than a walkway. Empire East would have been completely demalled, and only a small portion of the Western Mall exists in the form of their local theater. This ultimately leaves West Empire Mall as the last mall standing, and it's practically a giant now. We'll get there. The mall was practically taking off, and would see its first major expansion in the form of more tenant space and new anchor Dayton's in 1978, which would turn over to Marshall Field's around 2001 before becoming Macy's in 2005. 1988 would see Sears arrive in the mall, along with another expansion to bring in even more tenant space, which we've just come out of. It wasn't all great, however, as Herberger's would close shop in 1981, and their space would be subdivided to make way for new inline tenants, which included a family fun center named Zizo's Magic Castle. But this would eventually be replaced by Dick's Sporting Goods in 2013. Something that did come up in my notes while looking back at this mall's past. There was apparently a massive fountain in the center court designed by artist Clarence Van Duzer, whom described the piece as a monumental, imposing sculpture within the environment of the fountain. There's gotta be pictures of that somewhere. I didn't dig deep enough, unfortunately. And even more unfortunately, this fountain would be ripped out in 1983, and while it was rebuilt for a time in the Central Plains Clinic, it would ultimately cease to exist in the long run as the building was renovated. We really cannot have nice things, can we? The West Empire Mall would see its ownership gradually change from General Growth Properties to Simon Property Group, and digging further in, while GGP continued to manage the mall all the way into 1998, the mall would have been sold to IBM Pension Fund in 1985. and it wouldn't be until 1998 when Simon Property Group and the Macerich Company would purchase the mall in a joint venture, with Macerich taking over management before ultimately letting the mall go in 2012, making Simon the sole owner. And while I tend to butt heads with their modernizations, they do know how to run a mall. Fast forward to 2018, and Yonkers would close its doors as its parent company, Bon-Ton, went bankrupt and liquidated their assets. Sears would also close their doors in the same year. This would prompt Simon to release a document that proposed redeveloping the former Sears and its part of the parking lot, while the former Yonkers would simply declare it as a future anchor. And the future anchor part would actually come true, as Dillard's announced plans to take over the Yonkers store, though it would take them quite a while as they planned to add additional retail space. But they would arrive, opening their doors in March 2024, a few months after this footage was taken. Today, the Empire Mall may look very different from what it started as, but it is still holding its own and is one of the only live malls in the state of South Dakota with no signs of slowing down. It's also the only super regional mall for dozens of miles in any direction, allowing it to sit pretty and even manage to complement the big box centers around it. The future still looks bright, but that empty Sears has got to go though. Sioux Falls itself is becoming bigger and better over the decades. While crime is an issue, everything else seems to be doing great. Good employment opportunities, great real estate and healthcare, decent schools and a low cost of living, and you got some pretty nice natural beauty to behold for a region that's composed of mostly farmland and rolling plains. If you're in the region, go see the Falls Park. And when it's too hot or cold to be outside, the mall is a decent backup. This is one of those instances where I think I've found a city that I wouldn't mind living in. But that's just me. As for the mall itself, I can't say it's my favorite, but I'd be content hanging out here. The food court, interestingly enough, might actually be the part of the mall that I like the most. And with Dillard's in the picture, it looks like this mall will be doing just fine for quite a while now. Before we go, why don't we have a proper look at this fountain? And with that, it is time to depart. What did you think about the Empire Mall? Did you love it or hate it? Until next time, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you, in the Empire Mall, farewell and good luck in the future.